Hello and welcome once again to Exit Strategy. This is the podcast where we ask comedians, what would you do with your life? If comedy was no longer a part of it, you got to switch up your entire life to focus on something different. What would that be? The world is your oyster. What would you like to do if you had all that free time that was normally spent writing jokes, telling jokes, practicing jokes? What would you do? I'm just looking right now, folks. I got to tell you, I'm looking at this list of former guests, and it is huge. We've done a lot of shows here on Old Exit Strategy. I hope you've listened to them all. And if you haven't, what a great time to go back and check them out. We've got quite a few here. We're coming up on 2 years this year of Exit Strategies, so I want you to be caught up. There's a lot of great episodes there. We got people from. We got like Jake Weissman and Matt Ingebretson from Corporate. We got comedian Dave Ross. We've got Caitlin Gill, Alan Strickland Williams, comedians galore, Rhea Butcher. We got people famous, people not famous yet. We got the whole work. So go back and check out Exit Strategy on your iTunes platform, on your Spotify. There's a YouTube channel if that's how you do it. But there's plenty of ways to listen to Exit Strategy. Although I want to specifically point out one group of people that needs to listen most. Now, I've brought it up before, and I'm gonna bring it up again. Because before the show, I checked it out to see if there was any progress on this matter. We've had listeners, and have listeners, from every single state in the union. I'm talking North Dakota. I'm talking Delaware. I'm talking every single state except one, Alaska. We have not cracked the Alaska code yet. We got to do it. This is my goal for this podcast now, is just to get one damn listener from Alaska to come in here and shake up the system and let me know that all 50 states have formed together in one exit strategy block. And we all listen together, because then once we go past America, then we can go on to all the other countries here. You know, we've got other countries. We've got the UK, we've got Germany, France, we got Panama, Costa Rica's been listening. What you're missing out? We got several provinces in Canada, Alaska. We're practically right at your doorstep. So if you know anyone from Alaska, let's hook them up here. Let's get them on the train. For a little more exit strategy. I mean, if we're all together, it's a whole exit strategy club that we can all be a part of. Okay, enough of that. I'm sorry, Alaska, but get on board. I won't say anything more about that until probably next week. Okay. This week, we've got Lisa Chanoux on the show. She is a stand-up comedian and also one of the co-hosts of the very popular What's Your Sign podcast. If you are interested in astrology, horoscopes, things of that nature, and you want to listen to three funny ladies talk about it on a weekly basis, I would recommend subscribing to the What's Your Sign podcast, because they're delightful people. We've had Julia Loken on the show. She's another co-host. And now we're having Lisa Chanoux on the show. So check her out, her podcast. Also, she is one of the, I would say one of the faces of the booming chatterbox comedy scene in Los Angeles, which is sort of a cousin of the Los Angeles comedy scene. It sort of exists in its bubble. It's an exciting little scene of comedians that have formed a real, like, I don't know, they're doing comedy for actual people on a weekly basis. That's harder than it sounds in Los Angeles. And Lisa's a part of that. We get into that. We get into the comedy scene in Los Angeles. We get into the whole LA experience. So listen up. Here we go. We've got Lisa Chanoux on Exit Strategy right after this. Also, you're just still right down the street, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have a nice, easy commute.
Yeah, I just walked and I got a tarot reading from this gal on Instagram that I'm like online friends with. Yeah. So I was listening to it, and then she got to the career part, and I was like, "Stop! I don't want to hear it," because like I don't want to say like you know,
don't want any influence
I don't want to be
on
like,
this.
"Oh yes, my tarot reader just said that I should blah blah blah." Like,
no. Well, I'll have the tarot reader on as like an announce. Like we'll do like a after buzz of this episode to find out. Yeah. So you're just right down the street. You're just walking down here, and it's a nice little easy trip. I feel like I thought I was gonna run out of comics in my neighborhood to have on this show, and it has yet to happen.
Oh, there keep being more, too.
It just keeps happening.
Ellie lives over here now.
Oh, I got to get Ellie on the show.
Yeah, she lives right. I think she lives on your street.
Really?
But up that way.
Oh, my God. I don't know what it is. This neighborhood is just,
it's going off.
It's a magnet. And I just want to stay here for, how long have you been in this neighborhood now?
I think 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 2.
I just want to stay forever, but I hope we don't. We're going to get fancied out, I think. You know?
Yeah, it's changing.
Aw.
Have you been to the new... Do you ever go down our way, like to Temple?
Yes, I've been down Temple. I don't know Temple as well.
Okay, so there's a new coffee shop.
Okay.
Very hip. Very hip. And then what else is down there that's like... I'm like, ugh. But that's where I go to the grocery store. I walk over that little market over there.
Oh.
In Temple.
It's like we live in this little, everybody thinks of LA as like this big spread out thing, but like in our little part of the neck of the woods, it's like little village, you know. I walk to the grocery store, I walk to stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
That's how it should be.
I agree.
We're trailblazers, Lisa.
I agree.
We're living in LA the way it should be.
Yeah, I mean, people watch my dog outside the store.
Oh, wow,
nice.
You're at that level of trust?
Yeah,
where you're like,
they're just like, I'll watch him. I'm like, all right, I'll run in real quick.
That's incredible. Nobody would think that we have that here. It would just be like everybody thinks that we're... I feel like everybody... Like my parents probably still think that L.A. is like in the 90s where like you might get carjacked. Or something. Yeah. I always got to worry about those carjackings. They're happening all the time when I'm talking on my car phone. You know? Yeah. Speaking of tarot earlier, you are the co-host of the What's Your Sign podcast. Mm-hmm. I've had Julia on the show. Mm-hmm. We got to get the whole trifecta in here.
Okay.
But how is it going with the What's Your Sign podcast? It's
great.
Like you guys hit it big right up top.
Yeah, I think so. We've worked really hard on it, and we did a lot of research about how to release episodes and what needs to be done in order to build a following, and we played by the rules, which is
play by the rules.
It's not fun for me to be like, yep, we release every Monday.
Yeah,
but that's what we do, and it's great. We have a good time doing it.
Yeah,
we're lucky. We have good fans.
Yeah, you. It seems like you have a pretty loyal following, and also astrology is sort of like it's. I feel like it's having a moment. It's blooming a little bit.
Yeah,
people are
for sure.
Are definitely. I don't know. I feel it's not just an LA thing. It's not just like a.
It's all over
California thing.
I think it's. I don't know. I think that spirituality movement kind of vibe is happening.
Yeah.
People are into crystals. People are into all the woo-woo stuff. I worry that it's taking away from some of the more real aspects in order to become more commercial.
Yeah.
But I do think that happens with everything. And so I think the people who do it the most and believe it the most are probably going to still believe it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have a firm belief in something, you kind of have to disregard the people who are doing it for some sort of trendy reason, because it's like, well, you can't just quit because you don't like the assholes that
and I think with astrology in particular, it's it's not a belief system. I think that being spiritual, that can be like a replacement for a belief system. But astrology is just like a tool that you can use in your everyday life. I mean, the planets do move. We know that. It's based in science. It is not really a science, but I don't know. It affects satellites when planets move in certain ways. Yeah. So, why wouldn't it affect people?
So, on a day-to-day basis, how much are you? Is this affecting the way you make decisions in just your day-to-day life or in your career when there is the planetary movements and there is the give me a term here with the
aspects and
astrological phenomena,
current transits and stuff.
Yeah.
I personally don't use it that much in my life.
Yeah.
Mostly because I have mental health issues, where I'll just be like, oh, I can't. If it says I can't, I can't, and I don't want to be like that.
It's a good excuse to just be like, well, that it says
Yeah, I'll not leave the house. So for me, I don't really use it that way. I do think that if I had like a ton of time and money, I would use it way more. Like, I know that some presidents have used it. I know that like JP Morgan Chase, or I think JP Morgan, yeah, I think they use it.
They do.
Yeah. So I think there's like some quote from him that's like, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. It's like people who have so much money. It's like, why wouldn't you explore every option?
Yeah.
Or if you have the time every morning to read like 5 horoscopes, go for it.
Yeah.
But also, horoscopes are written. I think they're more suggestion. I don't think no one can know what's going to happen. I think it's just conjecture. So if you study astrology and you look at the transits, you probably have a better understanding than someone who's just like, generally your sign is this.
I think that's my level. I know the trends or characteristics that I'm supposed to have as a. Can you guess?
No, Cancer.
No, I'm a Leo.
Okay, but I was close.
Like, I know the trends that I'm supposed to have, but I don't. I have a very base level of the phenomenons. I know about Mercury going into retrograde, and that's how communication is lost. And if I say anything ignorant and stupid, please let me know.
It's not ignorant.
It's like communication is sort of fuzzy, and technology kind of doesn't work.
Right.
And I can pick up on those things when they happen. And then also, there was like a Mercury going into retrograde right before my wedding, and I was like, it stopped like the day before, and like, I don't know why, but that just gave me relief of like, oh, thank God that's gonna be not an issue.
I think Mercury retrograde definitely technology, communication, anything with small parts. Also, Mercury is like the Mercury that we know from Greek mythology, the guy with the winged shoes, or you know, the guy that flies around delivering your mail or whatever from Hercules the movie.
Wait, is that what everything's based
Hermes
on?
or Mercury? They're the same. I don't know which ones, but yeah. He also is like travel.
Yeah.
So travel plans can get messed up, stuff like that. But for a wedding, I wouldn't worry that much. It's something that's more like, oh, you might like leave that paper that you need and have to like go back and get it. It's like, it's not like, oh man, your marriage is doomed. Like, it's
like no one can get married between this date and this date. That kind of thing. I think Amber was also trying to fit it in with the moon too.
Oh, okay.
As well. We had like a little light. Yeah. And then the weirdest thing that happened to us was, so she went to the hotel to get ready with her best friend, and her best friend did like, well, let's pull a tarot card just like to see what happens. And they did that. So she's telling me this in the lift from the ceremony to where we're going to go get dinner. And she's telling me all about that. And she pulled the card, and she told me what the card was. And then the Lyft driver, who had been silent for the past 10 minutes, goes, wait, what side was it facing? Or what direction was it?
Reversed or not?
And then he started telling us that depending on what like direction it was flipped, decided the outcome, and she couldn't remember. And then he said, well, you need to like, it like informs the next card. He pulls out a tarot deck himself, hands her the next card. Like we had like,
whoa.
I don't know, like things creep into your life where you're like, that is a cool little phenomenon.
What was the card he pulled? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I
Dang.
feel bad. I'll edit it in, like I remember.
That's fine.
But it was good. It was something about how he said it was going to be money.
Oh,
like it meant
pentacles.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was pentacles. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I never had any interest or knowledge of it until I moved to Los Angeles. But it's kind of this cool thing to just sort of, have another like element of way of thinking.
Yeah, I think it should be used the way you use like therapy or something, where it's like it's just for introspection.
Yeah.
And like to help you move your life in a positive direction.
Yeah.
It's not gonna say like, yeah, like your mom fucked you up so bad. Like that doesn't help you when like no therapist is gonna tell you that. Like what they're gonna say is like, oh, it sounds like you have some issues like in this area.
Yeah.
And these are like some strategies of moving forward. And I think that's how you should use tarot too, where it's not like, oh, you torture yourself mentally. Sorry, that's just the way things are. It's like, no, if you torture yourself mentally, here's another card. Find a relationship, find a person, like, and move in that way so that you can learn and grow and be a bigger person.
It's just like sort of bringing an element of personality to the forefront to think about.
Yeah.
Because we can't like fix ourselves all at once, really.
No.
You just got to like, let's work on this. Let's work on that. It's all a balance.
Yeah.
Life is hard.
Yeah, it's tough. It's difficult.
It's just so much. So I wanted to know, because I realized when I had you on that I don't really, I know you, we're acquaintances, but I don't know anything about you.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious to get the Lisa Chanoux picture. Like, where were you from originally?
I'm from El Paso, Texas.
Whoa.
Which is, I was just there.
How is it?
It's good. It's changing. It's coming up.
Yeah.
They got vegan food now. It's really changing.
I'm guessing when you grew up in El Paso, Texas, they didn't have vegan food.
I don't think so. We might have had like one place.
Yeah.
But you know, like sloppy, like stinky vegan food. Like not like LA vegan food where it's like fresh and
it's like a
a mung bean stew or something where you're like, ew, I don't want this.
It's like, this is as good as we can do right now. Yeah.
So that's cool. And I like it there. I don't know if I'd want to be there permanently, but I'm growing to like it more as I get older.
Yeah. It's home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that where you started to do comedy?
No, I don't. There's not much comedy there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what the scene in El Paso is.
There is
like.
a club, but he doesn't have an open mic, which is so weird. And now he'll never put me on his stupid club.
We'll edit it out.
It's fine. I don't care. Yeah, there's a club there, and then I know like Marcella and Solomon have gone through doing like, I think Solomon opened for a band, and Marcella did like a theater.
Yeah.
So I know there are like avenues, but there's not really a scene. And I started here doing stand-up, which is the greatest idea in the world.
Well, why not just dive into the deep end? It works, you know?
I love the scene here, and I know that it's annoying, and I know that people hate it, but I like it.
Well, I mean, it's all I know. You know?
Yeah.
It's I know all the little eccentricities of it, and when somebody new moves here, especially if they come from like a town like Chicago where they get up all the time and they come in, it's just like, oh honey, I'm so sorry. Like, you're gonna have to, these are the rules, this is how LA is. Just because I've been in here so damn long, I know the ropes.
You have to meet people and do stuff. I don't know.
When did you move to Los Angeles?
2012, 7 years ago.
7 years ago in LA, baby.
Yeah. Yes. I moved here with my ex-fiance.
Yeah,
real good stuff.
Okay, this is juicy.
Yeah. We moved here, and we lived here for about a year and a half before I broke it off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you fell in love with a brand new city. You gotta get the LA boy instead of the El Paso boy.
Arizona.
Oh, Arizona, even better.
I went to Arizona State.
Oh, okay. So you came from the Southwest Desert to Los Angeles. And then did you start comedy right when you came in here?
I started taking classes at UCB, sketch writing classes, and from there started taking improv and then started doing stand-up.
Yeah. What a scene it's been. And then, it was like, that was a really fun time to be, especially in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
East Side comedy in Los Angeles was like, I don't know. It just seemed fun and exciting. There was like a lot of
a lot going on.
You just walk down the street and there's going to be a comedy show, and then if you didn't want to stay at that one, you'd go across the street to the other one. Yeah. It was like how it should be. Yeah, that's a scene, baby.
It was so fun. It's still fun. There's still a lot going on.
Yeah. Well, you're also involved in the Chatterbox scene up in Covina.
Yeah.
Which has been sort of its own world.
Yeah, starting its own. There are definitely people that started there.
Yeah.
Which is fun to see and watch people grow just like at the open mic there. And then when I see them at mics like here, I'm like, ooh, look at you. Look at you. I'm going to watch you.
Unfortunately, since I don't have a car, I'm not able to make it out to Covina, California
it's
that
far.
often. I know, it's far. Is it, I guess, there's an open mic scene in Covina, which is only, 10 miles away?
It's got to be
20 miles.
Yeah.
It's like just right outside of L.A. Is it like, does it feel like its own little, almost out-of-town community?
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy that much distance still does that.
But I think it would feel like that anyway because it's like the suburbs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, this is just different.
Yeah.
The open mic is just different. It just feels different. There are people there that are watching.
Which is crazy.
And not all the time they're watching.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're on their phones or kind of whispering in the back or whatever. But it's nice. And people are generally pretty cool. Steve bartends on Thursdays.
Steve Hernandez.
So he is not allowing people to be like super shitty.
Yeah,
which
so
is nice.
There's some knowledge of like, all right, this is what we needs to
Yeah.
be here. Yeah. That's it's sort of it's kind of like how even if you go to the Valley, it's sort of, I don't know, there's just like slight differences.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's sort of the good thing about LA, and the bad thing is that like I know this community that I've dug into, this East Side comedy community, but then if I went to Santa Monica, they wouldn't even, like, I would go up to an open mic and they wouldn't even know how to say my last name. Like, it's that divorced sometimes, these scenes.
Yeah, it is interesting. I do love the Valley. I'm a big fan. I know that people look down on it.
I got to dig back into the Valley. It feels like it's better than it was before.
I think it's great. I love it. I think it's they're like, there's such an attitude sometimes at open mics.
Yeah.
And I just feel like at the Valley, like if you're going to have an attitude, you just like walk outside. Like you don't just stay in the room and like be stank to everyone.
Yeah.
You just like, oh, you don't like this person? Go smoke a cigarette.
Yeah. It doesn't need to be like stare them down.
Yeah. Like
where give me a little assistance with the Valley, because I feel so divorced from the Valley. Where are we talking? What are the spots we got to check out?
Well,
shout them out.
Lindsay Adams open mic at the Good Night is great. Killer Mike at the Other Door.
Yeah.
And I've heard the Oaks is good. I've never been.
Okay. See, this is, and then like I feel like when I was here, and I started here in 2008. The Valley was just sort of where like all the crazy people and all the like racist people were. But now it feels like it's just like.
I also used to go to Liquid Zoo.
Yeah.
And like stuff like that. What are those two like the guys that sing? Tommy and Jimmy or something. And they're like Italian guys doing like these like spaghetti meatball jokes or whatever. Like I'm not kidding. I'm not like making a joke. I'm not paraphrasing. Literally, this is what they did. And they would wear like striped suits and hats. I'm not kidding.
Like they were like a barbershop quartet or something?
Kind of. This is what I remember. Maybe I'm being racist
this might have been
on
a dream.
Italian people. But no, like for sure people listening are going to be like, I know exactly what she's talking about.
They might be listening.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
That I do remember that. But I also loved that.
Yeah, you need a couple oddballs in there every once in a while, because it's definitely like, I don't know, we see each other perform so often, and that, I don't know, there needs to be something to wake you up from like the normal tone of every single open mic.
And I don't even mind if it's like misogynist or whatever, as long as it's not like super hateful or like threatening.
Yeah.
Because I can put it aside and just be like, this person sucks. And it sucks that you like are gonna call your girlfriend fat for 5 minutes, but when someone takes it to a point where you feel threatened or you feel like they might hurt themselves or something, that's where I draw the line. Where I'm like, oh, I don't want to be here.
And that it's like it sort of comes around every once in a while. There's also the like every, I don't know what pace you'd think it, like maybe every 2 years somebody at an open mic is like, wouldn't it be shocking for me to get naked for some reason?
Yeah.
Like every 2 years that happens, we all talk about it for a little bit, and then we wait until the next time it happens. It's honestly, it's like a planetary thing. It's just like it all comes around.
It's like a cycle of nudity.
The nudity
I also like that. For me, that bothers me because I've worked in bars and restaurants forever. That like. It's just like, man, all you're doing is like putting this space at risk. Like you're putting the liquor license of the bar at risk, and like can you just do it with a nude bodysuit underneath so that we all get the point and then, like, no one gets in trouble? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, like, a rule follower.
Well, no, I agree with you. And I think it's the same thing with, like, if there's an open mic, don't bring in outside beers.
No,
like,
just, like, be a good patron of the space. Like, you don't have to be, like, spending $100 or doing anything, but just, like, come in and be nice to the people that work there, like,
because everything's like, I mean, there's a comedy show or an open mic at like a mom and pop shop. Like every element of that is on shaky ground. None of that is permanent. At all. Just like let's all just like it has to be a communal thing where we all just help this move along because one little thing could just knock it all out. Like all it takes is somebody to come in and sue the show.
Or like smoke weed and like that puts the bar at risk. Like
just let's be respectful of it here. We'll keep our community going. I want to talk to you also about you and Scott Lewers are tiki enthusiasts. Tiki drink enthusiasts.
Yes.
I feel like we're kind of entering a sort of a renaissance of tiki drinks.
It's coming back.
It seems like they're really popping up all over the place. Yeah. I also want to get honestly, I'm just having you on for some hot tips.
Okay. I can't wait.
What tiki spots do you guys like to hit up? Because I love a good night of like let's go wild.
Well, we should all go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be fun. We like to go. Well, we started going on vacation mostly.
Yeah.
But we had our first date at the Tonga Hut in the Valley, which is
legendary.
Probably my favorite one in town.
Yeah.
And then Tiki Tea down here.
If you can get in.
You can get in. If it's not a weekend.
Yeah.
You can get in. And we've gone a few nights, and it's pretty fun. Like, it's just, it's really small. I've been to Clifton's. I didn't have a great time there.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Scott also works at Beelman's downtown, so they have great drinks. And I don't know if there are any other ones I've been to in town.
They just keep popping up all over the place, though.
It's cool.
It's cool. And I think it also, like when you mentioned Tiki Tea, I think it also speaks to like what we were talking about this neighborhood feeling like communal. Like there's people that have gone to Tiki Tea for 40 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's like there's regulars, and I think that's kind of a cool little community. Do you feel like you guys are part of the community yet? Do they know you?
They don't know us, but usually... Oh, there's also Lono in Hollywood, which is new, and it kind of has a nightclub vibe, but it's very cool.
Yeah.
It's cooler than you would think, especially where it is, like, on Hollywood Boulevard, where you'd be like, I don't want to go.
Oh, I have been to Lono.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes,
like,
I have. You walk inside and you're like, it doesn't feel like it's on that street.
Right.
Like it's right next door to like probably like a T-shirt
shop and like a Cabo Wabo or not a Cabo Wabo, like a Cabo Cantina. I think legit.
Like a full on like Sammy Hagar stupid grass, like tiki bar shouldn't be.
Right, yeah.
Like we have like some grass skirts, but like the Coors Light is our drink.
Our specialty, but yeah, like. Anytime we go to a bar, usually if there's usually one or two people there that are drinking alone, and that's how you know they're like tiki people, and they're usually wearing a fucking flowered shirt, like and they have like a whatever souvenir mug, like you can tell, and so we talk to people a lot in tiki bars and just like talk about which are their favorite bars and stuff, and
there's like cool. It's a much more inviting atmosphere because every drink is literally a conversation starter.
Yeah. Oh. And I mean, you get so drunk off of like 2 drinks where you're just like, I'm like, it's fun.
You're just
and
happy.
Like, yeah. And you feel like so bad the next day.
So am I getting the vibe that you and Scott are not coming in full flowered shirts?
We have. I think.
You kind of gave it a little side eye there.
I mean, yeah. Like, I think, I don't know. We definitely got dressed up for his work's like 1 year anniversary and stuff like that. But usually if we're like on vacation, we're not like, pack the tiki shirts, honey. We're going to Vegas. Like,
the goofier the better.
Yeah. But I don't think it's fun. I don't think it's like lame. I think it's you look like a dork, but I think it's cool that you're willing to like wear that shit.
I mean, you're just like buying into it. We went to Hawaii and I bought the shirts for it, and now I'm like, well, now I just have like goofy shirts.
I mean,
they just come in the rotation.
We're
now.
at the age now where like guys wear that. Like, that's fine.
It's honestly, it's kind of liberating to just be like, well, this is my flamingo shirt.
I'm Tommy Bahama. Like, it's fine.
And everybody comments on it every time I wear it, but I'm just like, well, I'm not going to just not wear a shirt.
Yeah.
All right. All fun aside.
Okay.
Now, we got to get to the exit strategy part of the show. This is the serious part. Now, you've already had some thoughts of it earlier at the tarot card reading, but don't let that person influence you. Okay. Don't let the cards influence you.
Well, I didn't listen to it, so I hope
good.
you can't.
All right. So, Lisa, you've been doing comedy for quite some time now. You really invested yourself in the scene. You've got a podcast that's going hot. You've got like all these irons in the fire in the entertainment industry. I'm going to take all of them away now.
Okay.
Strip you of that completely.
Okay.
If you had to choose a new road to go down, something new to put all of those energies into and focus on, what kind of path would you go down? What would be an exit strategy for Lisa Chanoux?
So it's hard, and I've been thinking about it like all morning, because I think there are a few different like reasons or things. Like, so my mom owns a restaurant.
Yeah.
So if everything was stripped away from me and I really had to just
get something,
I could go work at my mom's restaurant and take over the family business.
Yeah.
If I wanted to do that and if I wanted to move and do all that.
That's back in El Paso?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do have like a fallback, I guess, or like a plan B. I don't think that's in the cards for me. That's not something I would do. If I had to choose a profession, if I wanted to make money, I think I'd probably go into weed. And if I wanted to be happy, I think I'd probably like go to culinary school.
Okay. So let's unpack it here.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the restaurant background. Did you grow up like working in the restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of restaurant was it?
Italian.
Okay. So you've got a restaurant background. Now you say that it kind of sounds like the culinary thing is sort of like pleasure, and weed is just sort of like
you can make a lot of money. I think you can make a lot of money. In California today, I think you can make a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. I think you get in now because it's just going to spread to the whole damn country. And then it'll be like there's Napa for wine, and then I guess NorCal for, well, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Where's the weed?
Humboldt.
Yeah, Humboldt for all the marijuana for the entire country. But it sounds like you don't, it's just sort of that's like a pragmatic thing for you. Do you have like a...
I like weed. I have worked in weed before, and I like it.
Yeah.
I also like the fucking people in weed are so annoying, and like it makes weed suck. Like where you're like, I don't want to get high. Like you suck.
Yeah.
But I just think that it wouldn't be too hard to like get started. Or we know people that we could be like, hey, do you know of a job?
Yeah.
And you could like work your way through and learn how to do it, I think, easily.
And be in sort of that industry. And there's like, it kind of feels like there is sort of a creative element to it.
For sure.
Well.
Yeah, you're growing something. Also, you could like go into edibles or like go into the CBD route and like really try to heal people's shit.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, it's kind of, it's exciting in a way that this is like, who knows what this industry is going to be, and it's just birthed. Like there's avenues that I'm sure we haven't even thought of yet.
Oh yeah,
that's
for
gonna
sure.
happen there, and you could be on the forefront of that, and then it's make some serious money on that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like what you would rather do is go down the culinary thing.
Yeah.
Which is sort of in the avenue of the restaurant.
Yeah.
What is the do you just, when you choose culinary school over working at the restaurant, is it just a matter of like you'd rather do the cooking part and not have to deal with like the administration part? I feel like working around
yeah. I think it would. I think if I went to culinary school to become a chef, I would end up having to do
all that,
help my mom, and like I would probably try to start a restaurant here and one in El Paso and like try to keep it. But I also, that's a lot. And that seems pretty hard.
Yeah.
And also like I like cooking and I love like eating. So I feel like maybe it wouldn't be good for that to be my life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when they say like don't make your work, what is it? Something?
No, I don't know the same, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Where it's like once you make your
it's your job instead of like fun now.
Yeah. So it just sort of strips. I mean, it's kind of like with comedy. I feel like I've seen so much of it that it takes so much for me to laugh now. It's kind of like you see the inner workings. You're reminded of the hardship. Like it makes it way more complicated than it should be.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that the difficult thing about comedy in that way, which this is probably going to sound horrible, but last night Scott and I were watching the new Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston movie called Just Go With It. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty bad, but like, I mean, it's pretty bad, but I was laughing a lot because it's just unexpected, but not in a good way, but just like, I can't believe that they're making this simple joke or whatever. And I haven't gotten to see something like that in so long because I'm focused on people who really have a point of view and want to like do this and craft jokes and do it this way. So that then I'm like, oh, this plastic surgery joke, which is horrible, like a horrible joke. But I'm laughing because I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
So I think that
you just went with it.
I was like, I can't believe I'm laughing. And Scott was like, you're loving this movie. And I was like, I can't help it. Like, I'm laughing.
But like, not to say the title of the movie again, but just go with it. Because like, if something makes you laugh, like, don't think about it. Just have it.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I don't recommend watching the movie. We also paid for it. I definitely don't recommend doing that. Like, you know, I think that
Rent,
those kind of
don't
things.
Buy that one.
Yeah. Wait till Netflix. I'm sure it'll be on Netflix.
Just go with it.
Yeah.
But so you want to be able to do something where you can have the plastic surgery joke, so to speak, where you can just sort of like go with it and be a little more open rather than if you were, I don't know, if you ran your family restaurant, you'd probably be stressed out maybe and not, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd be stressed out over sort of someone else's vision because I mean it's not yours.
Yeah, I think the family aspect of it is kind of like that to me is very empowering. Yeah, but I think that we're not Italian. Like, I don't need to do this, and it's cool. I love the restaurant, and I hope that someone wants to do something with it. But I don't think it's gonna be me. I also like love the restaurant industry and think it's cool. I don't know if I could do it 24 hours a day. Yeah. I don't know if I want that kind of a responsibility. I would love to be able to leave work at work.
Yes. So if you went to culinary school, is there an option where you can do that?
Yeah, you're just a chef.
So you just be like the head chef at...
Yeah. And I think usually the head chef also has to like do a lot. They're the back of the house manager most of the time, if not the entire restaurant manager. But I just like cooking, so I don't know. Maybe I could start like a bakery or something. Yeah, just something where you could, I don't know, just pour your heart out into your food. Would that be your cuisine of choice? Dessert? Yeah. I don't think so. I don't know. I'm Middle Eastern, and I love that food, and my mom is always like, you're the only one in our family that likes to eat this stuff. So I think doing something with that would be cool. I also grew up in in a border town, so I love Mexican food. But I don't know. California cuisine, I love salads, avocados.
Well, California cuisine is like just do whatever, mix and match. And it's kind of cool because you have the Middle Eastern background, working at an Italian restaurant near Mexico. There's so many flavors that you can.
And I've learned how to cook so many different styles of food that it's like it's fun. I mean, my mom's restaurant serves fried chicken, which I think is so funny. Like fried chicken inside of spaghetti.
Well, why not?
Why not? It's delicious. It's excellent.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing about, I guess, where we're headed I mean, probably as a world, but also in the food world, it just feels like everything, every ingredient is fair game at this point. Like if it fits together, it fits together.
Yeah.
There's no, why keep it in one country?
I love simple food too. Like,
Yeah.
just fucking don't put anything on that steak. Salt and pepper. Grill it.
Just do it right.
Good.
Yeah. So if you, let's say that you were to you open a restaurant. Now, it doesn't have to be in Los Angeles. Part of exit strategy could mean exiting this state. So is there a place where you would like to open this
I mean,
restaurant?
if money's not an option,
Money's
it's
not
gonna
an
be like Big Sur.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Like, I think that is where I would want to end up.
Yeah.
If I
up in the trees,
had the money, like, yeah, on those cliffs.
Yeah. Tucked away in there. Yeah, okay.
But is a restaurant going to succeed there? No, probably not.
You know, Lisa, it's not my place to say whether a restaurant can succeed or not. I'm just here to ask you what, like, preferably, like, let's say I'm driving up the Pacific Coast Highway. I'm coming up on your restaurant. Like, what am I seeing? What's the vibe? Where was it located? Are you in the trees? Are you overlooking?
I think we're cliff's edge.
Yeah. I
think it's going to be simple food, Middle Eastern flair, maybe something weird like instead of bread, something. I don't know.
An interesting carb?
Not a carb. It might be like a hummus and crudité or something instead of bread, but probably expensive.
Well,
me as an owner.
Yeah, but it's Big Sur. You can hike up the price on there.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what it would be.
Yeah.
And I think it would be fun. I also think, like, it's interesting to me that no matter what, like, because I would love to also go down the road of, like, being, I don't know if I would want to be an astrologer, but I've looked into it.
Yeah.
And every choice of career I've ever wanted is, like, something that's just impossible to do. Like, oh, you want to open a fucking restaurant in Big Sur and you've never, you know, went to culinary school or like done anything.
It's a big, you're just biting off a big hunk to chew on.
Yeah. So, but I think that's good to have big dreams.
Well, plus also, if you wanted to, I don't know, if you wanted to be in Big Sur and you wanted to do it, also it would have sort of like, again, that sort of smaller community thing too. So you just, people are going to root for you. That's Lisa. She runs the restaurant over there. Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know. They might be snooty rich people. Who knows?
I feel like Big Sur's kind of earthy though, aren't they?
I mean,
there's definitely rich people.
It
don't
seems
get me
cool.
wrong. Yeah.
I don't know.
But I feel like there is a community there. I think you could be a part of it. Let me ask you this about the restaurant. Are we also going to have the bar attached to it on the side?
I think it's going to be an old bar, like old wooden bar.
Yeah. Big old hunk of redwood, like a thick one, kind of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, arak, do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
Like ouzo.
I don't know ouzo.
It's like... in my big fat Greek wedding.
Man, we're striking out.
I'm trying really hard. It's like a drink from my culture that you like drink after dinner.
Is it like a dessert
flavored?
Kind of thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it like, I'm sure you've had it. I feel like it's always like, and some college kid always like, it's like Goldschlager or something where you're like, this is so fucking gross.
It's not something you start the night with. Like,
it's not,
hey, everybody, we're drinking this liqueur.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like something you have after dinner, but to do something like with that, like either a cocktail or just like make it really good, like the right amount of ice.
Yeah. See, that's my other question I like to ask people is like with this new exit strategy, like obviously you're switching for something that's very expressive, very creative. Would this fulfill it? It sounds like with the restaurant, there's endless opportunities for you to express yourself in this.
Yeah, I just read a book called Where'd You Go, Bernadette, which is a major motion picture coming to you soon, I believe.
Little plug.
I have not seen it. Could be terrible.
Yeah.
Please don't at me.
Just go with it.
You can hit me about the Adam Sandler movie that I did watch. But in one of the things, she's like complaining to her friend, and her friend is this guy. She's like a woman in a male-dominated field. And so she's complaining to her friend that's also in the same field, and he just goes, "Are you done yet?" He's like, people like you have to create or else they become a menace to society.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because there is a lot put on women in the way of like having a family and like doing all this other stuff. And it's like, no, you still need to create, whether you do it through your children or through your work or you write in a notebook, one way or another, you have to.
Yeah, you can't just put it away. It's like it's a need.
Yeah. So it would, of course, it would come out through the food and like fucking weird licorice flavored cocktails.
Well, it's not weird if it's like, this is what I'd like to present to the world. It's it's called art.
Yeah.
Well, I, for one, would love to head up to Big Sur and eat at this restaurant. I hope I can get a table.
You're always welcome.
Oh, thank you so much.
We'll have a little corner roped off for you.
Well, I don't. That's too much. That's
your name on the back of a chair. Or something.
I don't know. Now I'm uncomfortable. But it sounds like we got a fantastic little exit strategy, and I don't know. Maybe it just might happen. But Lisa's going to need some serious cash to make this happen. I think I might have an opportunity for you to get it here. Now, every episode, we have the guests choose the sponsor. Maybe a company or a product is listening. They're like, we got to get Lisa on board. She's the perfect spokesperson. So after the break, we're going to find out. Are you going to cash in big time, maybe sell out big time, open that restaurant up in Big Sur? We're going to be right back with more Lisa Chanoux right after this. We've had some luck in the past. People have, honestly, I'm kind of shocked that it's worked before, where a guest has chosen something and we've gotten Auntie Anne's pretzels before. Alan Strickland Williams is like the gold standard. He got a bottle of No Let's Gin for free. It happens.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I got a lot of clout in this industry, but I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Lisa. We don't have Warby Parker. We don't have some food delivered in a box sponsoring this show. We need you to come up with a sponsor. Who is the sponsor for this week's episode of Exit Strategy?
I'm so torn, but it's going to be Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
We've hit them before, and we'll hit them again.
All right, let's do it. Trader Joe's, I mean, just the best.
Do you have a specific... Is it the product, or is it... The ambiance?
It's not the ambiance. I'll tell you that.
Step
it up, Trader Joe's.
It's not the ambiance. It's not the parking lot.
I will say I don't like that they make their employees wear different outfits in like a caste system way.
Oh,
where it's like
different colors.
Certain shirts are like for certain. So I don't like that. But what I do love, that dry food section, man.
Yes.
They know what they're doing.
Do you have a specific one you want to shout out? A specific product?
There's just too many to list. The
whole damn aisle.
All the dried fruit. I'll say that. There's so much dried fruit. Dried lemons.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I've never had a dried lemon before.
Now you have to go.
I gotta go.
You gotta go to Trader Joe's.
Does that come with the peel on? Peel off.
Peel on.
Oh wow.
It's excellent.
Oh God. Now
I'm covered in sugar.
Well, yeah, of course, but I'm legitimately intrigued now.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Do you, obviously, the ambiance is a problem. The parking is a problem. What is your Trader Joe's like? Do you have a hack where like the time you go? Because you got to have like a specific time and place for your Trader Joe run, or it's going to be a nightmare.
I go to Silver Lake.
Silver Lake Trader Joe's.
Which has had its drama days.
Just, to put it lightly.
Yeah. So I always take Hyperion, go in the back parking lot.
Okay.
Not where the light is.
Yeah.
The other entrance. Park back there. Just park far. Just be cool with parking far and walking.
You are preaching to the choir. Can we just say this to everyone in the world? Just sometimes just park far.
Just park far and walk. It's okay. If you get into that area where the light is and where there's the guy directing traffic, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's not going to
It's ruined your grocery shopping experience already.
Exactly.
So just park in the back, go walk around, grab your cart. You got to wipe it down, please. I'm a real germ person. Please fucking wipe your cart down. And then just go wine section. They have wine that other places don't have.
Yeah.
And it's a real bummer when I go shopping at fucking Vaughn's and they don't have my rosé.
They don't have the rosé you want. That's why you got to go to Trader Joe's. Honestly, I feel bad for any part of the country that hasn't gotten Trader Joe's yet. If you haven't, write them a letter. Tell them Lisa sent you. Get yourself a Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
It's going to change your life.
Seasonal item, lemon ricotta ravioli.
Oh, I've had the lemon.
There are only a few months left. I highly recommend it.
Fill up your freezer with them. Have them all year long.
Mm-hmm.
So head on down to Trader Joe's. You might just run into Lisa at the Hyperion section. If you do, probably don't talk to her though, unless you know her.
You can say hi. Also, Trader Joe's, if you're listening, I would love it if you made that ravioli year round.
Year round, or like just sent her a box of it.
Yeah.
That's a very specific request. I like it. Lisa, as far as anything going on with you, if people want to hear more about you or see you live, is there any place that you would want them to check out?
I mean, Chatterbox Comedy Night every Sunday at 9. You can follow me on the internet at ASILNOUX or listen to What's Your Sign?
On the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And then in a couple years' time, head on up to Big Sur and have yourself some, what's that liquor called again?
Arak.
Arak.
Yeah. And no comedy in my restaurant.
I probably should have asked that for something. So what night is the open mic? Where's the back room? Lisa, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. All right, we're going to see y'all next week on Exit Strategy. Bye.
Bye.